Ladies and gentlemen, here we are after a tough loss. Welcome to Believers Talk. My name is Joel, and welcome to a post-game edition of Believers Talk, where we go back and look at yesterday's game between the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. This will be the last time we look at this game and say, forget about it tomorrow. Of course, we start the new week and look towards the Pittsburgh Steelers. And guys, I just want to say, if you haven't already subscribed, of course, obviously subscribe to Believers Talk for continuing Buffalo Bills news and Buffalo sports. The Buffalo Bulls just announced the bowl game they're going to be in. They're going to get to go to the Bahamas. Not a bad trade-off, right? Instead of being in Buffalo during December, you get to go to the Bahamas. I think that'd be an all right deal for me, if you ask me. How you doing? Glad that you can make it in here. Let me open up the chat. I just saw that somebody has already said hey, so that's good. The word's getting out. Hey, Carmatos, how you doing? Yeah, just ready to get this post game underway. Again, guys, if you're new to the channel, all I do is Sunday. I watched the game yesterday. We gave you live play-by-play reaction right here on Believers Talk. Again, hashtag sports and Believers Talk teaming up to give you the best live Buffalo Bills play-by-play reaction every single Sunday. So make sure you already subscribe to Believers Talk. Go over to hashtag sports, subscribe to them as well, as they'll be giving you the game next Sunday night against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Buffalo Bills looking to hopefully clinch that playoff spot and hopefully secure that at least the 5th playoff spot and maybe move up a little bit more. How do I think the Bills perform 8-20 next week? I think they're going to do just fine. Obviously, we're going to talk about that throughout the week, guys. Welcome, Ronald. Good to see you. Glad that you can make it in for the stream. We're going to talk about this game yesterday, and yes, it was a disappointment. Before I really get into this game, yesterday I was taken back a little bit, and today too on Twitter with, I don't know why it's either hot or cold with Buffalo Bills fans. I don't get it. Now, I'm not one for moral victories, right? I don't think what happened yesterday was a moral victory by any stretch of the imagination. There's only one type of victory, and that shows up in the standings. I don't believe in moral victories. I know Coach McDermott is stressing that to his team as well, saying, hey, we don't believe in moral victories. We have to get the W's. And there were ways to get that W yesterday, things that slipped through our fingers that we have to be able to capitalize in the future if we are going to beat the upper echelon teams in the NFL, especially come playoff time, right? If we want to be considered one of the better teams in the NFL, we got to make sure we can beat a team like the Baltimore Ravens at home after 10 days rest. The fact that we come out flat is just unacceptable. And we'll talk about that, of course, guys, as the chat's heating up. Guys, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Let people know that we are here. And go ahead and share this video. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. And then, of course, hit that notification bell. And, guys, not only am I teaming up with hashtag sports, also teaming up with BewareTheStampede.com. Again, to thank all of you for getting me over 1,000 subscribers, go to BewareTheStampede.com, and we are currently running contests daily for an Andre Reed signed Buffalo Bills jersey. So every day you can have a new entry if you follow us on Twitter. So make sure you enter every single day for your chance to win that Andre Reed autographed signed Buffalo Bills jersey. We'll be giving away some other prizes as well. So make sure you enter. Want to see one of you, a Bills fan, come away with that prize. And thank you for getting me to that 1,000 subscriber mark. 2 weeks to go in the contest. So make sure you get over there and put in your entry. So again, guys, let me get to some of these comments as they're rolling in. Hey guys, how are we doing? Young King, our defense did great as expected. Our offense and special teams needs to improve to make us Super Bowl champs for years and years and years to come. But I still believe. I'm wearing the hat, Young King. We got to believe. But yeah, there was definitely like fans who were thinking, hey, this is a moral victory. And then there was the other side of the coin that said, hey, we're going to have to jump off a bridge. Oh, this team's terrible. Oh, in the stream yesterday, someone said Josh Allen sucks. No, he doesn't. Come on, he had a rough day, and he did have a rough day. Let's not be kidding about ourselves about that. He did have a rough day. But at the end of the day, it's just one game. And, the Baltimore Ravens defense came to play, and we will talk about that again as well as the stream goes on. So let me get some of your other comments as well. Only the offense came out flat. I think if Allen completed 1 of 4 of those overthrows, we would have won. Hey Daniel, how you doing? Hey, Scott, good to see you. O-line looked bad. Yeah, the O-line looked bad. One of the things we're going to talk about in here as well. Bills Mafia, welcome to Believers Talk. Again, guys, hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. Hey, King Cam, how you doing? I don't believe in more victories, but yesterday's game showed us we can play with anybody, and it did. It did, especially this defense, right? I mean, this defense really kept us in the game. One of my first negatives that I'm going to talk about is the slow start that the Buffalo Bills got off to, right? I mean, you talk about the first quarter. The first quarter, we only had one first down. One first down, that's not acceptable against a good team. Shortly going into the second quarter, we find ourselves down 10-0 and fighting our way back. Now, we answer back with a great 11-play drive, and I really feel like in that second quarter it began to click. Hey, this team's good, but we can beat them. Unfortunately, by that time, we were a little too far behind, and Baltimore was able to keep up, and you have to give them credit. Again, there's a reason why they've now won 9 straight, a franchise record for the Baltimore Ravens, winning 9 straight, and they clinch a playoff berth, the first team in the AFC to clinch a playoff berth, Kansas City clinching the division with their win over New England with that 425 game. So Baltimore clinches a playoff berth with the win. Can't clinch the division yet because Pittsburgh beats Arizona. We'll talk more about the AFC playoff picture tomorrow, but that's what's going on. That's what it looks like. Obviously, the Bills still sitting there at that 5 seed, but the game this Sunday night going to be huge, right? Going to be huge between the Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And guys, we haven't beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh since 1977. So there's a lot of things on the line in this game. And obviously, throughout the week, like I said, we will talk about that. Can't spot the Ravens 10 points. Absolutely not. You can't do that to a lot of NFL teams. And that's what we did in this one. And it came back to bite us in the butt. And you look at some of the touchdowns. One of those touchdowns was blown coverage, right? Wide open tight end going over the middle. I think it was Hurst, right? Scores on a 60-some-yard touchdown play. First touchdown set by that Baltimore Ravens defense, causing a Josh Allen fumble. We haven't seen too many of those recently, but he does fumble it twice yesterday, once recovered by the Baltimore Ravens. Leads to a short field, leads to an easy touchdown for the Baltimore Ravens. I think it was Doyle on that one. So now the Baltimore Ravens have actually set another franchise record for most touchdowns by the tight end position, because they had 2 yesterday, putting them, I believe, at 11 for the season. So the Ravens had a few franchise records yesterday. Lamar Jackson becomes the second quarterback ever to rush for over 1,000 yards in a season for a quarterback. No, he did not break Michael Vick's record. He did inch closer, but you do have to give the Bills defense credit in kind of shutting down Lamar Jackson for the most part. Lamar Jackson is the first quarterback this season to have 3 or more touchdowns against the Buffalo Bills defense, so he has a feather in his cap for that. But again, the Buffalo Bills defense really did their part keeping the Bills in this game after that sluggish first quarter start. Scott Blakely comes in. Bills defense is truly elite. One mistake cost us 7, but overall crazy good. I completely agree. If Allen plays like he did yesterday, forget about winning in Pittsburgh, says Spencer. And we expect the bounce back game, right? We really expect the bounce back game because Allen's just been constantly improving, and we'll see that hopefully next week as well when they go play the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. Now, we could say that Allen looked bad yesterday, but man, that fourth quarter came in, he shined, right? He had this team within a red zone of tying this game up. A John Brown pass that was on money that I think it was Smith or someone really did a good job defending it. Speaking of Jimmy Smith, how about that non-pass interference call on Robert Foster? That was a good one, right? But we digress. I know a lot of Baltimore Ravens fans thought we got a lucky break. Cole Beasley deserving an Oscar out there, acting like he got pulled down like a horse collar when he does get rubbed, but man, he deserves an Oscar for his performance, doesn't he? Got us the first down that last drive, gave us a chance, and that's all that matters. So happy to see that. And again, guys, if you're joining me and you want to watch the game, currently this game is 10-3. The Giants over the Philadelphia Eagles. 17-3 now. No one wants to win the NFC East as these teams continue to lose. Dallas loses on Thursday. Now the Eagles look like they might lose with the return of Eli Manning. They might lose tonight, so we're going to see. Oh, let's play. Beasley got open on a zig route, King Cam said. Yes, he did, but I'm okay with one-on-one coverage, going to your best receiver, some would say second best. And not only that, now Josh Allen had a clean pocket stepping forward. If he would have wanted to throw it to Beasley, if you look, and I saw the play too, I've seen it on Twitter, if you look, Ford is right there, or it's either Ford or Dawkins, I forget, I think it's Dawkins, is right there. So he wouldn't be able to step in as well to that throw as he was that Brown throw, and that would definitely possibly make Brown or make Beasley have to stop to make the catch, and that would let the Baltimore Ravens defender catch up to him. There's a lot of things that can happen. He had one-on-one coverage with Brown. I'd like going there. Again, Baltimore makes a big play at a big time. Beasley, again, has a good day, has a touchdown, again, breaks has a new career high in touchdowns with 6 this season, so it's awesome. Nobody deserves to win the NFC East. No one does deserve the NFC East. You're absolutely right. He needs to have the fourth quarter mentality the whole game. I agree with you, but again, with a young quarterback, you have growing pains. What he needs to do is calm down in that first quarter, right? You see a lot of overthrows, and the reason for that is because of the win factors. I understand that, but you have to be able to read that win in the pregame and be able to adjust your game accordingly. Remember when teams were against the win, they ran the ball a lot, right? Run, 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 run. But when you're going with the wind, you want to take those chances. Well, if you take those chances, you got to know, hey, I got to take a little bit off these touch passes because they're going to carry a little bit. And Allen just doesn't understand that yet completely. And he'll hopefully he'll learn that, and he'll get better as time goes on. Because this is December football now. It's not going to get any easier for the Buffalo Bills as far as weather-wise as they play in Pittsburgh this coming week. It's not exactly going to be an easy game. I'm trying to look up Pittsburgh weather now for Sunday night's game. It's not exactly going to be a cool 45, 50 degrees. It's probably going to be a cold night in Pittsburgh. Ty and Seki won't make a big difference, but our O-line definitely missing him against elite defenses. I do agree with that. Why is it asking me that, Richard Greenwood? It's asking me if I want to hide that. I think that's a fine comment because I do want to talk about that as well. But I do agree that Ty and Seki would have made a difference. You look at this offensive line allowing 6 sacks yesterday. That's another one of my negatives on this list. This offensive line did not do well, and maybe that contributed to some of Josh Allen's struggles. If Josh Allen is consistently seeing pressure, he's going to get a little antsy back there, right? He's going to get a little jittery, and that's going to affect his throws a lot of time. If he can't step into a throw, that's going to affect his throws sometimes. So all these things go into how Josh Allen performs, and it's possible that some of these things were getting to him because, guys, again, Baltimore Ravens defense came to play. Yesterday during the live stream, Matt Judon, I think it was 98, I forget his number, of Baltimore, 1.5 sacks. He seemed like he was all over the field yesterday. We had some Baltimore Ravens fans join us in the live stream yesterday, and I was like, who is this guy? This Judon. He looks like he's doing a phenomenal job, and he was all over the field, so you have to give them credit. Steve Hampton comes in. Do I think it's on Josh for not reading his progressions quick enough when they rush 5 or 6, or do you think Dable needs to scheme for a quick outlet route for when the pressure is coming? Well, with how poorly Allen does against pressure, or did it against pressure yesterday, I think it was 1 for 11 or something like that, 1 under duress throwing the ball. Dable and Allen, he figured something out because these defenses are just going to keep sending pressure until Allen can prove he can beat it. And this Pittsburgh Steelers defense coming up, a lot like the Baltimore Ravens defense, they're going to get after you, right? That's why the Pittsburgh Steelers are in that 6th seed. It's all because of that defense. It's not because of Duck Hodges, that's for sure. So you look at this Pittsburgh Steelers defense, and maybe this Baltimore Ravens test came at a good time. Give us some time to adjust and get ready for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Because, guys, we really missed an opportunity here. The Kansas City Chiefs did their job for us, right? The Kansas City Chiefs beat the New England Patriots. I don't care how they did it. They did it. And we had a chance to win this game and tie the Patriots for the AFC East lead, making that Week 16 matchup all that much more important, all that much more fun to watch if you're a Buffalo Bills fan. Steve Hampton comes in. Baltimore used the Patriots game to scheme their defense. We had the same trouble in that game with heavy rushes, and that's something that we constantly have trouble with is heavy rushes. Again, they're going to keep doing it now until we can prove we can beat it, so we have to look out for that. Talked about earlier in this chat, Andre Roberts need to know when to get a touchback. Again, that first quarter, a slow start. A lot of the reasons for that slow start, bad field position. Ravens would score. They scored a field goal. Roberts would get to like in between the 10 and 15 yard line. That's 10 free yards you're losing because you decide to take it out of the end zone. Just let it go back to the end zone. I said yesterday during live stream, I know that the Ravens did it a couple times. I know the Patriots have done this too. They say you stand on the goal line. If it goes behind you, you don't get it. You just let it go into the end zone. It's a free 25 yards. You should take it every time. So that's what they're talking about over there. Guys, again, if you haven't hit that like button, hit that thumbs up button. Really helps out the channel. Again, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. No one comes in. All we need to do is win one out of the next 3 games, and we're in the playoffs. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. We win one of these games, and more than likely we are in the playoffs. I think there are some scenarios where you have to do a little bit more than one game. Again, we'll get into that all tomorrow, right? We'll get into all tomorrow, the AFC playoff race video that I'll do for you guys tomorrow. But I think we need more than just a win. But I mean, if we win, I think we're pretty sure in the playoffs. But we'll talk about that again tomorrow. I think Singletary should be our returner. Well, then what are you doing with Roberts, right? Now, maybe some of you out there are saying, hey, Singletary could be our returner, get Roberts off this game, off this team, and then bring in Duke Williams, leave Roberts on the inactive list. A lot of you want to see Duke Williams out there. I get it, but again, I just don't see it happening, barring injury. That's the only way I see that happening, is if a wide receiver gets hurt, you'll see Duke Williams come in there. Or if we don't make the playoffs, which we'll constantly be in a position to make the playoffs going forward until the end of the season. Which would you be a better scenario? Bills win out, clinch division. Scenario 1, Bengals beat Pats, and Dalton helps Bills out again for the playoffs. Hope scenario 2, Fitz beats Pats. Former Bills QB helps Bills lose to the Steelers, and both Bengals and Dolphins beat the Pats. I just want to see us. We can only control what we do. So if you're asking me which scenario is best, if it happens, it happens. I don't care. Any of those 3 scenarios are fine by me. To be honest, I don't want us to lose to the Steelers, so I don't like scenario 3. But the other 2, either way, whether it be Fitz helping out an old team, or whether it be Dalton saying, hey, my charity needs a little bit more money, Bills Mafia, help me out again, I think that I'd be happy either way, and I'm pretty sure everyone in the comment section would be happy as well with that. The Ravens were sending pressure from John Brown's side of the field, causing Josh to move away from John Brown. And John Brown was not that active yesterday. Again, I saw this on Twitter. 2 weeks ago, John Brown was 8th in receiving yards. 2 weeks later, here he is. He's 20th. Obviously, not much going John Brown's way. Cole Beasley has been a beneficiary of that. Again, Cole Beasley now a new career high with 6 touchdowns, still with 3 weeks to go in the NFL season. So I'm sure he's happy about that. But you do have to talk about John Brown and the fact that he just isn't getting the looks he was earlier in this season. So now I want to talk about another bad, and I've talked about this guy a lot. I know a lot of people have always given him a hard time. You know that I've been on the fence about this guy. That's Corey Bjorges. Corey Bjorges, our punter, had a terrible day yesterday. You're talking about 7 punts, only a 42.9 yard average. Only one of those 7 punts inside the 20-yard line. Hey, Elliot, how you doing? Welcome to Believers Talk. Justin comes in. The refs know they blew it for the Patsies yesterday, so you better believe the NFL will make sure they don't lose any games for the rest of the regular season. I was thinking all day today it'd be funny if the NFL comes out saying that they're going to do something about these referees because, you know, they just screwed the Pats and now all of a sudden they're doing something. We've seen this over and over again with other teams. All of a sudden you do it to the Patriots and it's a big thing. But they haven't, so we'll see what happens. Again, the Patriots need to learn how to have an offense, though. The Patriots are not looking great going into the end of the regular season and into the postseason. I think they got a favor yesterday by the Bills losing to the Ravens, but again, they are also 10-3 for a reason, okay? So it's not like the sky's falling over there. They're still going to make the playoffs, and they're still going to be a team to contend. They still have Brady. They still have Belichick. I'll wait till they're out of the playoffs to start celebrating about the Patriots not looking good. And Daniel comes in with Dawson Knox. I did want to talk about Dawson Knox for a little bit. 2 drops in the game. I think he was only credited with 1, but I give him 2 drops on this day. He does have 1 big catch, right? But for me, that does not make up for his 1 drop in the third quarter. The Bills down 17-6, and it's a 3rd and 8. 3rd and 8. And Allen finds a Dawson Knox, and he's open, and the ball is put right there. It's going to be a first down. Not only is it going to be a first down, the Bills are going to get into the red zone, and the Bills are going to keep the drive alive, keep momentum on their side. Bills score a touchdown. They make it 17 17-13 at that time, a much more manageable game than 17-9, right? So big drop by Dawson Knox there. Again, would have put us in the red zone in the third quarter to answer back the Ravens touchdown that they just scored to make it 17-6. Really wish that he would have. Kyle comes in saying he's mad. Again, there's plenty of reason to be mad. Again, you don't want to get too upset because, again, the Baltimore Ravens are one of the best teams in the NFL. But you don't want to say, hey, this was a moral victory either, because as I said in the beginning, I don't believe in moral victories. I want this team to do better every single Sunday. And I think that that's what this game is going to do. Guys, this game is only going to help this Buffalo Bills team improve. Again, the Ravens and Steelers both like to send pressure. So if they both like to send pressure, you can learn a lot from this game and use it next Sunday night against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, we should have a game plan going into that game that says, hey, I know they're going to send a lot of blitzes. Hey, I know that we ain't going to have a lot of time in the pocket. I mean, we know that Juju Smith-Schuster is probably going to come back for this game. But guess what? One of the positives from this game is knowing that Tre'Davious White's going to shut down anybody and everybody he goes up against. I don't want to hear anyone talk poorly about this defense. This defense just went up against the number 1 and number 2 offenses, and they moved up in points out of the game to second instead of third. So not too bad for this Buffalo Bills defense. You can thank a little bit of the New Orleans Saints for making San Fran allow 50 points or whatever it was yesterday. And what was another great game yesterday during the 1 o'clock hour, that 49ers Saints game. Hope some of you got to enjoy the end of that one as the Bills game ended. But yeah, Bills move up to 2 in the in scoring defense. So that's a good thing. But again, the Bills lose. Not happy at all. Who's dating Pagula's daughter? Are you just talking about Jason Kroom? Yeah. No, we did not trade Jason Kroom. We actually, I think he's not on the team, man. He got cut, I believe, back in the regular season, didn't he? Because you got Tommy Sweeney on the list. You got on that. And then who's our third guy? Tyler Croft. So yeah, we don't have Kroom right now. Love the show. Thanks a lot, Kyle. Glad that you can make it. Where's Fox Sports at? Unfortunately, his schedule's changed a lot due to schooling, so he hasn't been able to make these streams as often. Would love to see him come back on here soon. I do always give him a shout out, so make sure if you guys are not following Fox Sports, they go over there. He covers the Bills. He covers, I think he's a Blue Jays fan, covers the Sabres, the Bandits, whose season just started. So make sure you check him out as well. But guys, again, talking about this guy, that's my guy Kroom sweeping her up with the broom. Wow, Young King, you're a poet and you didn't even know it, man. Good job. So a couple more negatives I want to talk about. Third down conversions. Third down conversions have been a heel for the Buffalo Bills all season. Again, averaging about 30% on third down conversions. Yesterday was worse than that. Yesterday we only had 23% on third downs. That's not acceptable. Again, especially against good teams. So you want to make sure that you try to get that number up. And the reason that there was only 23% third down conversion rate is because a lot of our third downs were third and longs. Again, you're talking about Josh Allen constantly under pressure, throwing the ball away, getting sacked 6 times, just didn't have time to make anything happen. Would have loved to see more runs, but here's the thing, Devin Singletary had over 20 touches of the ball. Frank Gore needs to step up. He was averaging less than 2.5 yards a carry, and you can't keep running Josh Allen, or at least that's what fans keep yelling, is we don't like seeing all these runs, these designed runs with Josh Allen. Josh Allen, I think, only had 2 to 4 rushes yesterday, so maybe you need to circulate the ball a little bit more. Maybe, again, get Isaiah McKenzie or something like that involved in the run game as well. Didn't see too many jet sweeps yesterday. I thought we'd see a lot more jet sweeps yesterday than we saw, to maybe make that defense spread out a little bit more, make them question where the ball was going. Saw a couple screens yesterday, so that's something that some Bills fans can be excited about. I know a lot of Bills fans have been yelling for some screen passes. Saw a couple of them. Some worked, some didn't. Obviously, mixed review of those screen passes, but hey, they're trying to throw some things into this offense that defenses haven't seen yet. And that's something that we love to see as Bills fans, right? We know that since Brian Dable's been up in the box, we've been doing a lot better. Now, yesterday, we barely get over 200 yards total on the day. But same thing with the Ravens. Again, this Buffalo Bills defense really stepping up, only allowing about 250 yards of offense for this Baltimore Ravens team. So something that you really have to be happy with. Third time possession, again, Buffalo needs to win time possession to win these games. You have the Baltimore Ravens coming in at 32 minutes and 49 seconds. The Buffalo Bills at 27 minutes, 11 seconds, a difference of 5 minutes and 38 seconds in favor of the Ravens. The Bills are just not going to win games this way. Guys, I know comments are coming in like crazy. I want to get to them. Guys, if you think I'm missing you or you think you have a comment you want me to read on air, make sure you hit that super chat button. Helps out the channel. I really appreciate it. And I'll try to get to some of your comments here as we just talked about the negatives from the game yesterday. Again, I'll go through them again. Slow start, only one first down that first quarter. Got off to a 10-0 deficit out of the box. We can't allow that to happen. Corey Bajor, guys, our punter, 7 punts, 42.9 average. That's not going to get it done. However, I did want to bring up that the Baltimore punter also had 7 punts, only averaged 44.1. So it's not like he did a lot better in the conditions yesterday, but these are conditions that if you're a punter in Buffalo, you have to get used to, and you have to be able to punt well in those conditions. So just wanted to point that out. Again, I've been one that says, I told everyone to ease up on Bajorges, but now I think it's time that we possibly start looking at another punter. Again, some people, including myself, might say, oh, it's too late in the year to start looking at another punter, but the moment you stop looking for a better replacement is the moment the replacements, or the moment the starters just going to get complacent and know that you're not going to get rid of them, and that's not something that you want to have on your team. Andre Roberts needs to know when to take a touchback. Dawson Knox with his 2 drops. Again, the first one being the huge one down 17-6 would have had us in the red zone. Would have been a great play, but he needs to hold on to those balls. We know that Dawson Knox has had issues with drops, has the top most drops among tight ends in the NFL, I believe. So he just has to get better in that situation. Buffalo offensive line allowing 6 sacks yesterday. Our offense is built around Dable's coaching, not around Josh Allen's strengths. Baltimore's offense is built around Lamar's strengths. That's a good point, Young King. I like that. Ravens usually only punt 3 to 4 times a game, 7 times versus Buffalo. Buffalo's D did their thing, guys. No matter what anyone says, Lamar Jackson did not have a field day against the Bills. Again, even though Lamar Jackson is the first quarterback to get over 3 or more touchdowns against this Bills defense. If he hit those down the field, it would have been a different convo for sure. Those early passes, guys, in the fourth quarter. Do you remember that one that was off Devin Singletary's fingertips that Singletary laid out for? He was open. He had a step down the sideline. Oh, my goodness. I flipped the lid yesterday during a live stream, and if you were watching, you know I did. I thought for sure we were going to make a big play there. Too late to replace the punter. He is also a holder for field goals, switching with Hauschka. Daniel comes in. Well, I mean, hurting Hauschka at 78% field goal percentage doesn't bother me at this point. You know, it's not like if he was 100%, I would see your point and say, yeah, you're right, or 90%, but he's not. He's not doing that well. Hauschka did well yesterday. I'll give Hauschka credit for doing well yesterday. But so far this season, it's not like we can say, oh, don't want to mess with Hauschka's kicking game because if that takes a hit, we're in trouble. Like, it's already taken a hit since that injury last season, and we are in trouble every time Hauschka takes that field, in my opinion. Again, good game by Hauschka yesterday. Hopefully he gets things straightened out. But we know how hard it is to kick in Heinz Field. That's where we're heading. So just saying, we need to be careful before we get confident in our kicker again. Justin comes in. The Ravens punted a total of 3 times in the last 5 games combined. Before the Bills game, the previous high was 3 in week 4 when they lost to the Browns. Hey, we did a good job. Like I said, we did a good job yesterday, and we'll talk about that in a second. But again, Buffalo O-line, I definitely want to focus on Cody Ford and Deion Dawkins, not exactly living up to their potential on the offensive line. Third down conversion rate, we talked about that, and time of possession. Those are my list of negatives from that game yesterday. But now we want to talk about the positives. Again, guys, I believe in every game there's positives and negatives to take out of every single game. And I think everyone knows where these positives are going. They're going to be defensive heavy, of course, after a game like yesterday, a game where we really do shut down Lamar Jackson for the most part, and it's really good to see. I cringe when Hauschka kicks. I close my eyes all 3 field goals. I had to announce it, so I couldn't kick it. Couldn't close my eyes. But I get you, Chris. I get you. Again, guys, make sure you hit that like button, hit that thumbs up button. I see 16 people in this room. Go ahead, keep hitting that like button. It helps Bills fans know we are here talking post game of the Bills versus Baltimore Ravens game. Again, getting ready to move to the positive side now. We talked about the negative, but we want to talk about the positive because this Buffalo Bills team has a lot to build on going into the rest of the season. And again, I know this is going to be heavy on the defense, but I do want to focus on some good of the offense just for a second. Talked about a little bit early in the stream. Cole Beasley with his 6th touchdown grab of the season. That now sets a new career high for him in touchdown grabs with 3 weeks to go. So he can still add to that. But great addition for this Buffalo Bills offense for Josh Allen. Way to use this guy. And like you guys said, like Dak Prescott, you say, Cole Beasley is always open. On that 4th down play, last play of the game, he was open. Now, again, we can argue if Allen could have stepped into the throw at that angle, if he would have been able to get around the edge and get the 1st down, if not more. I think if he catches the ball, more than likely he's able to do that because he's Cole Beasley. But again, you have that one-on-one situation with John Brown. You trust John Brown. It was a good throw, just a good defensive play. If you listen to what John Brown said after the game, he thinks that the Ravens got away with a little bit more physicality than they should have with those cornerbacks, but you can't argue those things. You just have to go out there and play ball and let the refs call things as they may, right, New England? But yeah, Beasley had dropped too. He did have a big drop in this game as well. But yeah, I'm just a huge fan of Beasley, and that's not something you normally see out of Cole Beasley. Dawson Knox is kind of like a repeat offender of those drops, and just to see that just is terrible. And again, Dawson Knox, he'll come into his own at some point, right? We know that Dawson Knox will come to his own at some point and be able to be one of the top tight ends in the NFL. I truly believe that. But right now, yesterday was not his game. He had that one big catch for over 30 yards. That was awesome. But for every one big catch, he seems to have at least one big drop, and that's the case yesterday. Cole Beasley, I think he's had 2 drops all season, so we'll give him one. I know it was at big time, but man, it was just a tough day for Buffalo Bills wide receivers altogether. Scott Blakely coming in with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much, Scott Blakely. Again, guys, if there's something you want me to read on air, or you have a question for me, go ahead and use that super chat. I'll get to it as soon as I can. Challenge, Joe, can we do some investigative reporting? Why is Duke not playing a weapon we don't have and need? I could do some investigative reporting, but I can tell you that it might have a lot to do with special teams, might have a lot to do with the CFL, might have a lot to do with his attitude. We know, and I don't want to assume anything, but we know that in Auburn, we know that when he played for Atlanta, he had some attitude issues. That's why he ended up going to the CFL. And from everything I've heard coming from the CFL back into the NFL, he really changed his ways, and that's great. And I hope he has. That would mean then that the only reason why he's not on the field, because he should be on the field with his physical attributes, right? You look at him physically, 6'2", big guy, so a guy that we can use in the red zone more. You say, hey, he should be on the field. Well, then he must not be grasping the playbook, right? Everyone talks about how complicated Brian Daboll's playbook is. Well, in the CFL, your playbooks are a little bit easier. Again, the offense, the advantage for the offense in the NFL is huge. The advantage for the offense in the CFL is even bigger than that. So, easier offenses in the CFL than what you would see in Brian Daboll's system, and maybe that is why you do not see him on the field every Sunday, because he's not grasping Brian Daboll's playbooks, and he's not grasping the play calling. He's not getting cohesiveness between him and Josh Allen. And you see McKenzie on the field. You see, Roberts. You want to put him in special teams, even though we did talk about him as a negative. You do want him on there. So who are you replacing him with? Do you want to carry that extra wide receiver on your depth chart and then lose another position somewhere else? If so, who would it be? Again, only able to carry 47, 48 guys if you have a third quarterback really restricts you on who you can make active for this game. Would love to see Duke active more often. But again, I've said this for the past 2 weeks, and I truly believe that barring injuries to our wide receivers, I don't see Duke Williams playing in any more games this season. Again, that's just my opinion. Might be wrong, but I wasn't wrong when I told you guys that he would be inactive at the beginning of the season, so I'm not sure. I was wrong, however, when I say we'll make the 53-man roster, so we'll see what happens. I know a lot of you guys like Duke Williams out there. Scott, I know you're a big Williams fan, but we'll see. I just don't see him making it onto the field the rest of the season. Steve, I believe the word is he had trouble learning the playbook. That's what we were just talking about. Justin said Steve is right. Drop Lee Smith or a fullback and activate Duke. We will never drop Patrick DeMarco just because of his leadership on special teams. I know it doesn't seem like he's done much much been a huge help with Devin Singletary finding holes. So Lee Smith, yes, listen, we've been yelling get rid of Lee Smith for weeks. Don't know why he's still on this team. Obviously, has not been as active in the playbook as he was earlier this season, but he still is a good blocking tight end, and that's what he's being used for mostly, if not solely, for the Buffalo Bills now. But we haven't heard Lee Smith's name the past 3 weeks. Now, that's a lot to do with the fact that he hasn't seen a lot of playing time on the field, but that means he's not getting penalties either, so we'll take it. We'll take it however we can get it. But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Lee Smith go. And to be honest, I wouldn't mind seeing Lee Smith go bring in Tommy Sweeney or bring in Duke Williams, because I want to see what these guys have. But we're in the middle of a playoff push, so now it's not exactly, I know that us as Bills fans, we're used to right now bringing guys in off the inactive list, seeing who has what to offer, and knowing that, hey, we're not going to hurt ourselves because we're not making playoffs. Well, here we are now in the middle of playoff push. Now's not the time to be mixing formulas. Now's the time to go with what works. That's what Coach McDermott said yesterday. And what's been working for us is having Lee Smith on the active roster. Believe it or not, we are 9-4 with Lee Smith on the active roster. So we're going to keep doing things the way we've been doing things until they stop working. Can't say that one game is enough to prove that it stopped working, but we'll see what happens next week. Dez needs to come into Buffalo and teach our receivers some of his catching drills. Well, that's something I haven't heard anything from Dez. Dez said a few weeks back, I did a video on it about how he was going to make some phone calls to some NFL teams. He's ready to go, according to him. He's ready to go, but apparently teams are just not interested, and that includes our Buffalo Bills. Maybe we can have him in for a practice session, act like we're interested, just so he can hang out with our wide receivers and maybe show them a thing or two, and then say, no thanks, we're not interested. But we'll see what happened. Yeah, guys, go ahead, hit that like button. Thanks a lot, Ronald. Absolutely. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. It really helps out the channel. I appreciate it. I'm okay about yesterday, but 1-10 at the 15 with a minute left to tie the game at home. They should have tied it, but it's all right, says Carmitos. I think that I was ready for them to tie it. I really was. I was thinking, hey, this is going our way. We got a few favorable penalties in that drive that I was like, hey, we could tie this game up. I was questioning whether we should go for 2 or go for the 1. In the stream, I said go for 1. Normally, you want to go for the tie in overtime at home, go for the win on the road. But against this Baltimore offense, you just don't know if you'll see the ball. Maybe go for 2. At least then you get to decide who wins in that scenario. And we just so happened with the 2-point conversion on the previous drive, right? Cole Beasley open for a touchdown. Don't know if they would have had that opening on another 2-point conversion, but you never know what they would have seen. I was thinking they should have went for 2, says Spin. Let me know in the comment section, if they were scored on that last drive, would you have wanted them to go for 2 or just go for the extra point? Dude, you got do I? I don't know. Maybe I do. David, thanks a lot. If I do, I apologize. Justin comes in. That would be awesome, Chris. But unfortunately, it will never happen. What did Chris say? I think we could use a humbled AB. The idea of a humbled AB just doesn't seem right to me. I don't know if he's humbled yet or not. You look at his apologies on Twitter, and you just wonder who wrote them, right? I mean, everyone's asking, was it his attorney? Was it him? Just don't know if you have a humbled AB yet. If you did, everyone will be talking about it. But do you really want to bring AB back after what you said about Buffalo last season? I don't know, man. I don't know. I wouldn't like Antonio Brown because of his attitude issues. Well, and that's what Jeff is talking about too, is hopefully getting or Chris, is talking about too, hopefully getting a humbled Antonio Brown now that he's been out of the NFL for quite some time, a few weeks at least. Maybe he'd be humbled, more reserved, able to keep his mouth shut. But we just don't see that happening, right? We thought we'd have that with Odell going to Cleveland, and here we are, not even through a full season, and he's already talking poorly about the Cleveland Browns. I'll take Dez over AB. That would be an interesting conversation. I'm not sure. Dez just, when last we saw Dez, he did not look like the old Dez. I think he's gained some weight, and I don't know if he's ready to, I know Paul one time said, I don't know if we want Dez as a tight end just because of all the weight he's gained, but we'll see. If he makes one mistake, cut him, well, then you're cutting him pretty quickly. So I do want to talk about the positives again, talk about Cole Beasley. You want to talk about this team, the Buffalo Bills. You want to talk about the resolve, man. You go into the fourth quarter, or at least into the fourth quarter, you're down 24-9. It's easy to look at this game and say it could have gotten away from us, right? But the Buffalo Bills drive downfield. They score on a 2-point conversion on a beautiful drive that gets us downfield. The Cole Beasley touchdown, and that was the second Dawson Knox drop, by the way. The play before the Cole Beasley touchdown, you see Dawson Knox dropping in the end zone. So that's the only one I want to talk about. But Cole Beasley makes up for it, makes him not have to worry about that one as much. Score a touchdown. Cole Beasley gets the 2-point conversion. All of a sudden, it's a game. We stop the Baltimore Ravens. We get the ball back, right? We're driving downfield. Again, some favorable penalties come our way. Cole Beasley with his Oscar performance on that pass interference call. And here we are in the red zone with a minute to go, as one of my commenters said. And we just can't punch it in, guys. We just can't finish the job. But you do have to like our resolve. Again, we got off to a slow start. Went down, unable to score any points before we're down 10-0. End up scoring 3 field goals instead of touchdowns. Down 17-9. Then we come back, finally get a touchdown on the board, make it 24-17 with a chance to tie the game late. So you have to be happy about that. You have to be happy with what this team can do, that this team doesn't give up. And again, that goes all the way back to that preseason finale, right? Remember that preseason finale when the Bills were looking to go 4-0 in the preseason for the first time, and we were down by 2 scores late, and with a Christian Wade touchdown, and with a lot of things happening, here we come back, win that game. Everyone's excited. Everyone's thrilled. That pays off, guys. That pays off even now, later in the season, when we're down 24-9, and the coach looks at everyone and says, hey, guys, remember we were down 2 scores that last week of preseason, and the third stringers came back. If the third stringers can show that resolve, you can too. I mean, who knows what was said there, but I'm sure that's still in the back of their minds, and that's something they can use if they need it down the line. What happened to Wade? Wade is still on the practice squad. Once we put Wade on the practice squad, he stays there for the season, and then next year he'll have a chance to come up, make the active roster next season. So he's on the practice squad. He still is reserved for us on the practice squad because he's our 12th guy. Normally you only get 11, but due to the international program, the Bills and every team in the AFC East gets 12 this season. And that's where he is right now. And you know, he's learning the offense. And to be honest with you, that's where Duke Williams is too. Because again, Duke Williams comes from the CFL, completely different game. So you have Duke Williams and Christian Wade in the same spot. And you know, maybe they can stop us from having to draft a running back early on next season, or stop us from having to draft a wide receiver early on next season, because we'll be all right. We'll be all right. He's still the Bills. I'm sorry, some stuff's going down really fast. He's on the internet. Yeah, talking about the Christian Wade situation. Yeah, he's on the practice squad, and he'll have a chance next season to make the active roster. But guys, I do want to make sure we talk about this Buffalo Bills defense. I mean, forced in a bad field position, whether you want to blame bad Corey Bajorga's punts that make it impossible to switch fields, whether you want to talk about Andre Roberts taking it out of the end zone a little bit too much. The Buffalo Bills defense was forced in some bad situations, and they come out of it pretty good, right? Again, you guys talked about in the chat, prior to yesterday's game, the most punts the Ravens had this season were 3. They had 7 yesterday. Now, you can argue that San Fran game, the San Fran defense helped the Ravens offense pretty well as well, and they did. But this Buffalo Bills defense was on point. One of those touchdowns, a blown coverage, you can only blame the defense for that, so you do have to blame them for that one. Poyer, I believe, was the one with the blown coverage there. Hurst gets that 63-yard touchdown. Other one really set up by that Josh Allen fumble inside their own 30-yard line. So you really have to look at this defense and say a good job by them. Who remembers Charles Clay? He was clutch in some moments. Do you remember him the last season when we played Miami? And Josh Allen made a great play to keep the play alive, and then he threw it up for Charles Clay, who couldn't come back to the ball and make a catch. Do you remember that? Because I do. That's the Charles Clay I remember. I don't remember the Charles Clay who scored a touchdown for Arizona yesterday. I don't remember him. I remember the Charles Clay that blew every big moment that he had. So Charles Clay was overpaid trash, says Justin. And maybe that's hard too. We paid Charles Clay way too much money. So maybe if he has less money coming in, maybe we do it a little bit differently. But yeah, he was making too much money for the lack of production. I think Carmatos knows that he was joking on that one. Play was not clutch enough. That's why we let him go, talking about Charles Clay. But again, you talk about this defense yesterday. Great job, great performance. They held Lamar Jackson to 145 yards passing, his second lowest total this season. They held Lamar to 40 yards rushing. You talk about a team that in the last 3 games averaged 240 yards rushing, a team that for this season is averaging over 200 yards rushing, and we held them to 118 yards rushing total. That includes Ingram only getting 50 yards against us running the ball. So great job by this Buffalo Bills defense. Great job by this Buffalo Bills run defense. Again, this run defense has been taking a lot of hits for how poor they've been playing at parts of the season. But yesterday, they were on point, played really well, and we really thought that they did. I think we all can agree they did a good job. Forced an interception against Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson went over 180 pass attempts consecutively without an interception. We broke that streak yesterday. It was the second longest active streak going into that game yesterday, and we broke it. A great play by Tremaine Edmonds as their tight end tips the ball pretty much back into his hands as he's trying to make a great one-handed catch. Good defense by Johnson, I believe it was, to take the offense player away from that one. And Edmonds is there to pick the ball off. Now, unfortunately, the Bills can't score on the turnover, can't capitalize, and that's a big problem too. When we get turnovers, again, against good teams, we have to be able to capitalize. We have to be able to say, hey, we need to score points. We didn't even get a field goal on that drive, and a field goal would have been huge in that situation. Pete Metzelaars is one of my favorite tight ends of all time, not just for the Buffalo Bills. He was great, I thought. And then, of course, like we talked about earlier, Tre'Davious White on Hollywood Brown. You didn't hear anything from Hollywood Brown. I remember one point in the stream yesterday, someone said, hey, you haven't heard Trey White's name too much today. And I responded with, yeah, you haven't heard Hollywood Brown's name too much today either. Hollywood Brown had, was unable to get anything going yesterday. Even when they tried to force feed him the ball, just was not happening. This Buffalo Bills defense was having none of it. Another great job, another reason why he's proving that he is definitely a Pro Bowler this season. One of the best defensive players in the league, in my opinion. He's just shutting guys down every week, and it's going to happen again this week if Juju Smith-Schuster comes back or not. I think he's going to do just fine. Ingram 50 yards, Jackson 40 yards rushing. Yeah, absolutely, Dan. They both were held in check. I think with Ingram it was with 15 carries too, so you're talking about just over 3 yards a carry or something like that. So great job again by this Buffalo Bills rush defense. And speaking of Trey White, I do want to talk about something that happened that was funny yesterday on the field. So yesterday it was so windy in Buffalo that at one point the Baltimore Ravens play sheets ended up blowing on the field. And you see Trey White trying to run and get to them before the referees do and looking at them as they blow onto the field. Just Trey White being Trey White. Great guy, great family man, and just wants to have fun. Obviously was having a fun time yesterday, and just overall, it's just a good day for the Buffalo Bills, even though it does turn in, or at least for the Buffalo Bills defense. Offense can't get it going, and that's why we lose this game 24-17. Bills fall to 9-4. Still hold that 5th seed, though. Still hold that 5th seed by a game over Pittsburgh and Tennessee again. This just makes the Sunday night game against the Steelers that much more important. We will pregame that video Thursday during halftime of Thursday Night Football, so make sure you join me right here on Believers Talk for continuing Buffalo Bills coverage, including live pregame, live postgame, and hashtag Sports and Believers Talk teaming up to give you the best Buffalo Bills play-by-play and reaction to every single Buffalo Bills game this season. Join Mario and Paul from Hashtag Sports this Sunday as they give you the game between the Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And guys, remember, Hashtag Sports doing a Punt Foundation Football Squares fundraiser, basically giveaway, where you can get free stuff, cool stuff at a cheap price. $5 a box gets you a square. They work like football squares. Everything going to charity as far as the money collected. So make sure if you're not getting those squares that you get in there. Daniel, I know you won one of the prizes yesterday if you're still joining us. So get another chance to win some great stuff. Thank you, Austin Church, for coming in here. Thank you, Justin. Glad to see you guys in here. And again, hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already, guys. And I really do appreciate it. Someone said on Instagram, the Patriots want to know your location. Hey, they don't need to know my location. I never talk bad about the Patriots, so I don't know what you're talking about. Neptune, thank you for coming into the stream as well. But again, guys, if you haven't gone over to Hashtag Sports, first of all, great channel. Mara and Paul, great guys. If you want involved in the Super Bowl squares, they have plenty of ways for you to get them to $5. Again, $5 a square gets you a chance to win an autographed helmet, autographed football, bunch of different autographed Buffalo Bills merchandise. So make sure you check that out. Again, not only is Believers Talk teaming up with Hashtag Sports this season, teamed up with BewareTheStampede.com, and we are giving away an Andre Reed signed Buffalo Bills jersey. So make sure you go to BewareTheStampede.com, log all your ways to enter there, including following us on Twitter, following me on Facebook, subscribing to me here, following his podcast. Jeremy has a new podcast, does a great job. So make sure you do all those things, and you can win an Andre Reed autographed jersey. You can win a Daryl Talley 8x10 autographed picture. You can win maybe some koozies, some stickers. We haven't got all the other prizes figured out yet, but there's going to be plenty of chances for you to win. Again, thank you for getting me over that 1,000 subscribe mark. And again, if you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button, like this video. And again, I'll constantly keep you up to date, and that includes tomorrow. Going to do a video on the AFC playoff picture, so make sure you tune in for that. Thank you guys for joining me on the post game of the game between the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens, a game that the Baltimore Ravens win 24-17. Baltimore Ravens moved to 11-2 on the season, clinch a playoff berth. They now have a one-game lead on the Patriots and the tiebreaker for that one seed. All they need now is one more win or a Steelers loss, and they will clinch the AFC North. We're looking for the Steelers to lose next week, so hopefully that will get the Ravens the AFC North title that they're looking for. And the Buffalo Bills fall to 9-4, still have that 5 seed locked up. Hopefully it continues to be that way. I look forward to talking to y'all soon. We'll continue to talk about the Buffalo Bills. Until I do, go Bills.